Have you ever noticed that some mornings feel full of hope while others seem heavy before the day has even begun? The room around you hasn't changed, your routine is the same, and yet your heart feels completely different. On those difficult mornings, even simple tasks can feel overwhelming. If you've ever felt this way, I want you to know you're not alone. What you're experiencing isn't weakness. It's simply part of being human. Many of us grow up believing we should always be positive, confident, and full of motivation. We see smiling faces everywhere and assume everyone else has life figured out. Slowly, we begin comparing our struggles with other people's happiest moments. That comparison creates pressure that no one can live up to. The truth is, every person carries battles that can't always be seen. Think about walking through a quiet forest just before sunrise. The path ahead isn't completely visible because the morning mist covers the distance. Even so, you keep walking because every step reveals a little more of the trail. Life works exactly the same way. You don't need to know every answer before taking the next step forward. One of the biggest reasons we feel anxious is because our minds travel too far into the future. We worry about next week, next month, or even years from now, before today has even begun. Those imagined problems steal the energy we need for the present moment. Instead of living today, we become trapped in tomorrow.
Peace begins when we return our attention to the moment we're actually living. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones everywhere you go. At first, the weight feels manageable, but as time passes, it becomes exhausting. Many of us carry invisible stones made of regret, fear, and self-doubt every single day. We keep adding more without realizing how heavy we've become. Sometimes the first step toward healing is simply putting one of those stones down. I once met an elderly gardener who spent hours caring for flowers that hadn't even bloomed yet. Curious, I asked why he worked so patiently when there was nothing beautiful to see. He smiled and said, "The flowers don't appear the day I plant the seeds."
Every morning, he watered the soil, trusting that growth was happening beneath the surface. That simple lesson has stayed with me ever since. Our lives are much like that garden. There are seasons when everything seems to flourish, and there are seasons when nothing appears to change. During those quiet periods, it's easy to believe our efforts are pointless. But just because you can't see progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Some of life's greatest transformations begin where no one can see them. We often judge ourselves too quickly whenever life becomes difficult. A single bad day convinces us we're failing. One mistake makes us question our abilities. Yet, we would never judge a tree because it loses its leaves during autumn. We understand that nature needs different seasons, but somehow we forget that people do too.
Real growth isn't always exciting or dramatic. Most of the time, it happens through small decisions, repeated over and over again. Choosing to get out of bed, finishing one task, taking a short walk, or speaking kindly to yourself may seem insignificant, but these quiet moments slowly shape the person you're becoming. Great change is built on ordinary days. So today, don't ask yourself to become a completely different person overnight. Don't demand endless motivation or perfect confidence. Instead, ask yourself one simple question. What is one small thing I can do that my future self will thank me for? Maybe it's resting. Maybe it's learning. Or maybe it's simply believing that tomorrow can be better than today. Sometimes one small step is all it takes to begin changing your entire journey.
Have you ever stood by the ocean and noticed how the waves never stop moving? Some arrive gently, while others crash against the shore with incredible force. Yet, no matter how powerful the waves become, the ocean never forgets who it is. Our emotions behave much the same way. Happiness, sadness, excitement, and fear all come and go like waves, but they do not define the person standing beneath them. One of the greatest mistakes we make is believing that difficult emotions are signs of failure. The moment we feel anxious or discouraged, we convince ourselves that something is wrong. In reality, emotions are simply messages asking us to pay attention. They remind us to slow down, to rest,
or to care for ourselves in ways we've been ignoring. Listening to those messages is far healthier than pretending they don't exist. Think about a potter shaping clay on a spinning wheel. The clay doesn't become beautiful in a single touch. It is pressed, turned, reshaped, and sometimes even flattened before it finally becomes something meaningful. Life shapes us in a similar way. The moments that feel uncomfortable today may be preparing you for a stronger tomorrow. Many people spend years chasing the perfect life, believing that one achievement will finally make them feel complete. They tell themselves they'll be happy after earning more money, finding the perfect job, or reaching a certain goal. But happiness that depends entirely on future success is always just out of reach. Lasting peace begins when we learn to appreciate where we are while still working toward where we want to be. There is incredible strength in slowing down. The world often celebrates people who move the fastest, accomplish the most, and never seem to stop. But even the brightest stars disappear during the day so the sky can rest. You don't have to prove your worth by exhausting yourself. Sometimes the strongest decision you can make is allowing yourself a moment to breathe. Have you ever noticed how a single candle can brighten an entire room? It doesn't compete with the darkness or try to eliminate every shadow at once. It simply shines where it is. Your kindness works the same way. One encouraging word, one patient response, or one thoughtful action may seem small, but it can completely change someone else's day without you ever realizing it. There will always be people who misunderstand you or doubt your abilities. If you spend your life trying to satisfy every opinion, you'll eventually lose sight of your own voice. Instead of asking whether everyone approves of your journey, ask whether you're becoming someone you respect. That answer matters far more than any outside applause. Growth often feels invisible while it's happening. Just as a seed quietly develops beneath the soil before anyone sees a single leaf, your efforts are creating change beneath the surface. Every lesson you learn, every challenge you survive, and every fear you overcome is strengthening your foundation. Even when nothing seems different, your roots are growing deeper each day. Imagine looking back at your life 5 years from now. Chances are many of the worries keeping you awake tonight won't even cross your mind. The problems that feel enormous today will eventually become stories that remind you how far you've come. Remembering this can make today's challenges feel a little less overwhelming. Every difficult chapter eventually becomes part of your testimony, not your identity. So as you continue through today, give yourself permission to move at your own pace. Celebrate small victories, forgive honest mistakes, and trust that meaningful progress doesn't need to happen overnight. Every sunrise offers another opportunity to begin again, and every step you take, no matter how small, is leading you toward a stronger, wiser, and more peaceful version of yourself. As we come to the end of this conversation, remember one simple truth. You don't have to have everything figured out today. Life is built one decision at a time, one lesson at a time, and one step at a time. Give yourself permission to grow at your own pace without comparing your journey to anyone else's. Whenever life feels overwhelming, pause for a moment and focus on what you can control. You can't change the past, and you can't predict the future, but you can choose your attitude in this very moment. small positive choices made consistently will always lead to meaningful change.
Be kind to yourself, especially on the days when nothing seems to go right. Speak to yourself with the same patience and encouragement you would offer a close friend. Your inner voice has the power to either build your confidence or slowly break it down. So choose words that help you grow. Remember that setbacks are not the end of your story. Every challenge teaches a lesson. Every mistake brings experience, and every difficult season prepares you for something greater. What feels like an obstacle today may become the reason you succeed tomorrow.
As you move forward, carry hope instead of fear. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it may seem, and trust that every step is taking you closer to the person you're meant to become. Progress is never about perfection. It's about refusing to give up. If this message encouraged you today, don't let it end here. Take one positive action before this day is over. Share this message with someone who may need it. And remember that your journey is just beginning. Keep believing in yourself. Keep moving forward. And I'll see you again in the next video.